Show every weekday at 11, right here on Channel 11.
Now, Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
Good afternoon, everyone. That breaking news is in Brookline, a SWAT situation near busy Brookline Boulevard.
And police are telling people in that area to stay inside their homes. As soon as we heard the police were closing down the street, we sent a crew there. Channel 11's Renee Wallace is live for us after speaking with city officials. Renee, what can you tell us about this?
Well, Peggy, I'm here to tell you right now things are rapidly changing here. We believe this is over. Let's get an update right now. You are on live. Can you tell us?
Just stepping up right now is Pittsburgh Public Safety Director Hisrick and the Allegheny County Police Superintendent McDonough. We were going to share with folks what was going on, but you have the latest. What's happening?
I'll turn it over to Superintendent McDonough. Otherwise, I just want to state that it was a good working relationship that led to a successful resolution on this. Superintendent.
Fortunately, the incident is terminated peacefully. The subject came out voluntarily. A little background: on Tuesday evening, we filed charges, harassment, stalking charges against an individual. Attempted to serve the warrant here on Brookline Boulevard yesterday morning. He was non-responsive, but we did leave contact information by one of our detectives. This morning, he began to contact our detectives in a series of calls, more and more alarming conversation and threats. Eventually, negotiators spoke to him for a protracted period. We obtained a search warrant for the residence. Ultimately, we inserted some gas into the residence, and he just exited peacefully and was arrested.
What can you tell us about the suspect, Superintendent?
We'll issue a full release shortly, and we'll give you all the details in terms of names and identifying information. But he's known to law enforcement. I can say that, both the city and the county. But again, I'll give you a full release very shortly.
The nature of the threats he was making, and once you got inside, were there weapons inside? If so,
it just ended. We haven't even searched the residence yet, so I'll put that in the release.
So, Superintendent, can neighbors go back into their homes now? Can they come out? Can they roam free?
As soon as our tactical team clears, they'll be able to go back in their houses. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Superintendent. Okay, that was Superintendent McDonough from Allegheny County Police. This was a very volatile situation for a while, but clearly it is now over. But the road behind me, that stretch of Brookline Boulevard, which is from the 900 block to about the 1100 block, is still remaining closed. And as you heard the superintendent say, folks are still being asked to stay in their houses for now. But this situation has cleared up, and it has resolved itself peacefully, which is good news. That is the very latest here from Brookline. Reporting live, I'm Renee Wallace, Channel 11 News.
Renee, thank you very much for that. Well, let's switch gears right now with some sun and some clouds right now, and thunderstorms will develop this afternoon.
The storms are going to be scattered. Meteorologist Danielle Dozier tracking the timing for us. And can these storms be severe?
Yes, so we are looking at that threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. So if you do have any outdoor plans, you're going to want to stay weather aware. We're already starting to see some heavier showers that are forming in eastern Ohio and kind of pushing toward western Pennsylvania. So I've got my eye on that. The rest of us are quiet right now with a mix of sun and clouds. Here's a look at our visible satellite. This is going to show you where those clouds are starting to develop. So everywhere you're starting to see this white color, that is the cloud cover that's bubbling up with the heating of the day. Temperatures, they're in the lower 80s across much of our area, and they're going to stay in the low 80s, right about average for this afternoon. But if you do have any plans, if you're going swimming, just keep an eye to the sky because lightning will be a threat, and I'll talk more about those severe weather threats coming up in just a few minutes.
The latest now on a deadly fire in Washington County. We've learned that the victim is an elderly woman.
Channel 11's Lori Hoy is live in Chartiers Township after talking with neighbors. Lori.
Yeah, Damani, as you can see behind me right now, family members are here grieving the death of 90-year-old Grace Thomas, who lived in this house on Sprouls Avenue for decades. Neighbors tell me she was a woman of prayer and the neighborhood grandma. Most of the fire damage outside is to the front of the house, where I'm told a window air conditioner possibly caught fire. Inside, it is charred. It was just after 8:30 Wednesday night when a neighbor saw the flames and called 911. We were there a short time later and saw several fire departments on the scene. I'm told a neighbor tried to get inside to save Grace Thomas, but the heat and fire were too intense. Michael Randolph lives down the street and knew the victim.
She was a woman of God. She loved church. She loved her family. Pretty much it. Yeah, it's just nice to everybody. Yeah.
The state police fire marshal is investigating how this fire started. The latest on the investigation tonight at 5. Live in Chartiers Township, Washington County, Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
We are learning more about an accident on Hancock Avenue in Vandergrift. It happened last night. Police tried to make a routine traffic stop, but 48-year-old Francis Evans ran off after pulling over. Police say he was speeding around a curve, lost control, and rolled the vehicle. One other person was inside, but no one was injured. Evans is facing multiple charges, including DUI and resisting arrest.
New details at noon. The boil water advisory for Lincoln, Leamington, and Homewood North has been lifted. Now, if you were impacted by the water line breaks on Tuesday, you need to run your water for at least a minute before using it. PWSA says 2 rounds of water quality testing did not show any evidence of contamination. It is safe to drink and cook with. Well, we have new information at noon on what's brewing at the old Iron City site in Lawrenceville. Looks like new stores and homes could be in the works there.
And maybe even a nod to the old brewery. Channel 11's Mike Holden joins us live in Lawrenceville. Mike?
Peggy and Damani, good afternoon to you. This very familiar site is getting some serious upgrades. We're talking all about the historic landmark, technically the former Iron City Brewery. We had the chance to talk with the people behind this project. They say they are excited, and they hope that excitement will travel throughout the city of Pittsburgh once this becomes a done deal. Now, work is well underway at the former Iron City Brewery on the corner of Liberty Avenue here in Lawrenceville. We spotted these crews installing new shingles on the former keg house, and if you look around, you'll spot brand new windows as well. The sprawling space and multiple buildings present endless opportunities for future development. That is all according to President of Rosebud Mining Company, Cliff Armstrong, who actually owns the rights to Iron City Beer Company. Now, company officials confirm he has an agreement with a development company to buy out the 20 or so buildings over here. In the future, he's looking to make the 9 acres of land into housing, offices, and keep things nostalgic with a brew pub in a smaller capacity. Company officials say they see this area as a treasure. They plan to preserve the historic aspects and add an exciting new fresh twist.
We still have a long way to go. We still have a lot of planning to do. Right now our main focus is just restoring the exterior of the buildings, working with the historic committee, making sure that we're doing it right.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out. I would want to see what was going on. I'm sure they would have a grand opening event and show people around.
Now, the final done deal is not completed just yet, but we're clearly going to monitor each and every development because they have a big plan in place. But coming up on Channel 11 News at 5, that's not the end of this story. We're deep diving into the next step in the process, plus talking with more people who have driven past this landmark and what they're hoping will happen. That's all starting at 5. Reporting live in Lawrenceville, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Channel 11 has new video from a deadly shooting in West Virginia. 1 person is dead. Take a look here. And 3 others are hurt after separate but related shootings just across the state border in Hancock County, West Virginia. The shootings happened last night in New Cumberland, which is just north of Weirton and about an hour from Pittsburgh. 1 suspect was arrested after he was shot by an officer and crashed his truck into a house. Now take a close look and you can see the damage there. This picture is from our sister station, WTOV. The suspect was flown to the Pittsburgh hospital. His name has not been released. We expect to learn much more. Look for updates on Channel 11 News at 5 o'clock.
A 7-hour standoff finally over. Right now, the man accused of shooting 6 police officers in Philadelphia is in custody. This is new video of the arrest. Shortly after midnight, a member of the SWAT team shot tear gas into the home, and that ended a very long day and night for police. NBC's Ron Allen with the latest.
Overnight, a terrifying standoff playing out in this North Philadelphia neighborhood.
Shots fired at police.
Police radio traffic frantic, an officer desperately calling for backup.
Give me SWAT ASAP. Long gun ASAP.
Hundreds of police, armored vehicles, and SWAT teams converging on this house, taking cover as the suspect barricaded inside a building, fired round after round.
I got officers shot at this location.
At least 6 officers were shot and wounded, many of them hit while attempting to serve a warrant to the suspect, identified overnight by his lawyer as Maurice Hill. All are said to have non-life-threatening injuries. The firefight stretched for hours. Hill's lawyer telling NBC News the suspect called him desperate for a way out.
It did come to the point where it's like, listen, man, we're going to go in the house. If you're not here by a certain time, if he doesn't come out by a certain time, we're going in. And then, God only knows what will happen.
Terrified residents watched with horror, especially worried about 80 children at a nearby daycare center. The kids and caretakers sheltering in place until they could be evacuated. More than 7 hours after the first shots rang out, it ended, the gunman surrendering to police. The suspect likely to face multiple charges, including attempted murder for shooting and wounding those police officers. Officials say he already has a lengthy criminal record. Ron Allen, NBC News, Philadelphia.
Well, we're working to learn more about the sudden death of a young boy in Pittsburgh's Wind Gap neighborhood. The medical examiner identified the victim as 13-year-old Jordan Duckett. He collapsed while playing football in a field near Chartiers Avenue. That happened just after 7:30 last night. Jordan was rushed to the hospital but passed away. Pittsburgh police are still investigating.
A child was taken to the hospital after falling off a swing at the Washington County Fair. Initially, there were concerns a ride at the fair collapsed, but 911 supervisors tell Channel 11 that did not happen. No one else was hurt, and we will have much more on this tonight on Channel 11 News at 5 o'clock.
Just Ducky tours are now a thing of the past in Pittsburgh. The company is selling all of its boats. In June, the company announced it would not open for the summer, telling our partners at Pittsburgh Business Times they were unable to get insurance after a Missouri duck boat accident that killed 17 passengers. The boats, trolley, and spare parts will be sold at auction next month.
This is a true demonstration of unity.
A vigil held for the young victims of the daycare fire in Erie. Hear from the first responders who had the unimaginable task of racing in to get them.
And dozens of cats rescued, a house condemned. How humane agents are trying to fight the growing problem of animal hoarding in Beaver County.
Sunny clouds right now, so it's dry, but storms will be moving through this afternoon. I've got the latest timing for you coming up.
You're streaming WPXI now, your source for original local shows. Complete the most popular home improvement projects, including the kitchen sink, yourself. Watch Ron Hazelton's House Calls, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. on WPXI.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're a team you can count on to cover stories that impact your life.
Whether it's across the street or around the world.
Channel 11 News at 6.
And NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Weather and traffic updated every 10 minutes on Channel 11 Morning News.
This is the true demonstration of unity.
A vigil was held for 4 of the children killed in a fire at an Erie daycare. Those 4 children, all part of the same family. And now we're also hearing from some of the firefighters who desperately work to save those children. Here's Channel 11's Lisa Sylvester.
Lieutenant Charles Campbell, Captain Sean Lowry, and Lieutenant Len Trott were just 3 of the firefighters who responded to the fire early Sunday morning at Harris Family Daycare. They say even with their hoses knocking down the flames, the darkness and smoke made it difficult for them to find the children. As many as 10 firefighters were in the house, passing children from the 2nd floor to the outside, one by one, as they found them.
You can't see anything, so you're just crawling around feeling, and you feel a limb, and then you find the rest of the child and lift her up and turn around and all hand her off to somebody else.
In addition to the firefighters, police at the scene performed CPR on the young victims. Officers and firefighters even drove an ambulance to the hospital as paramedics worked to save the lives of the children.
You always hold out hope. I mean, there's always the chance there, especially, I think, young kids are strong and resilient, and you don't even think about that. You find them, you get them outside, and get them medical treatment.
8-year-old Lamaya Jones, 6-year-old Luther Jones Jr., 4-year-old Ava Jones, and 9-month-old Jaden Augustiniak and 2-year-old Dalvin Paisley are all believed to have died from carbon monoxide poisoning and smoke inhalation. Lamaya, Luther, Ava, and Jaden will all be laid to rest on Saturday. Funeral services for little Dalvin will be held next Tuesday.
That was Lisa Sylvester reporting. That daycare, you may have heard, only had 1 smoke detector, and it was in the attic. A state senator plans to introduce a bill requiring the Department of Human Services to inspect smoke detectors during annual inspections of child care facilities. The cause of Sunday's fire still unclear, but investigators do believe it started near a couch in the living room.
A woman is accused of breaking into a home while a mother and her children were inside. Jasmine Millette, seen right there on your screen, is charged with burglary. Police say she broke into a family's house in Homewood. The woman who lives there told police she heard what sounded like glass breaking in the kitchen and then saw Millette climbing through the kitchen window. So she ran upstairs and got her kids and called 911. The victim told police she saw Millette leave through the back door. She didn't get far, though. Police found her in the backyard.
A homeowner faces charges after dozens of neglected cats were rescued in Beaver County. A humane officer found 41 cats in this home along Beaver Road in Ambridge. 3 other cats were found dead. An arrest warrant has been issued for the person who lives there. The house has also been condemned because of the conditions inside, including a lack of running water and electricity. More details now. Humane officers in Beaver County prosecute 1,000 reported cases of animal abuse every year. The Humane Society says if you suspect abuse, call them. You can remain anonymous.
New at noon, the South Butler County School Board is offering some new incentives for substitute teachers. There's just not enough in the district. According to our partners at Butler Radio, new pay rates went up $10 from last year. Subs will earn $90 a day or $95 a day for teachers who sub more than 31 days during the school year. The superintendent plans to meet with an employment agency to recruit more teachers as well. Well, heavy rain turned into chaos for families in South Carolina. You got to take a look here. A roadway filled with waist-deep water yesterday, and it was just too dangerous to travel on there. Parents could not get to their kids at a daycare, so police officers jumped into action and got the kids to safety.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
We do have that risk for some strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon. I'm tracking a low pressure system that's in Ohio and a front hanging out overhead that's going to be leading to the scattered showers and storms developing this afternoon. Aside from the low pressure system, the other ingredients to get storms to develop is the heat and the humidity, so the amount of moisture we have in the air. And we definitely have the heat today with temperatures already in the 80s here in Pittsburgh and in Beaver at 84, 81 in Greensburg, 81 in Indiana, and our dew point right now is at 65 degrees, so that is the uncomfortable feel to the air. And yes, it's going to be humid for the rest of the day, so we're going to be sweating it out. It's going to feel a little bit warmer than the actual air temperature, which will get to about 83 this afternoon. Here's Storm Tracker at 2 o'clock. Showers and a few thunderstorms will be popping up with the heating of the day. Here's 2:30. You can see some green right there. As we work our way into 3:30, we still have the threat for showers and thunderstorms. Here's 4:30. Showers and storms kind of coming in from the west or developing overhead. So we're kind of watching as that low pressure system heads our way from Ohio. These showers and storms will be initially forming there and also kind of moving into the area. So we've got two different things happening, pop-up showers and storms, and then the potential for some moving in from Ohio. That threat will continue into this evening. So if you have any outdoor plans, if you have dinner, you're going out around 6, 7 o'clock, we're still going to have that threat for showers and storms across the area. Here's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We start to see the coverage wind down, and then overnight tonight, the storms have come to an end, and we will be mostly cloudy with patchy fog. Rainfall amounts will range from about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch unless you get in multiple thunderstorms, in which you could see more than 1/4 of an inch. But really, we're watching out for the threats of the locally heavy rainfall and that potential for severe weather. And if there is a severe thunderstorm, the threats would be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 1-inch hail, and there's also the potential for a brief weak tornado. I think the threat for the tornado is a little bit higher across far Lawrence County as well as Butler County, north into Mercer County if you're up around Franklin. Those are the areas, and closer to Lake Erie will have that greater risk there. But still, we're looking at that threat for some damaging winds and hail across the rest of the area. So, of course, you can always download our Severe Weather Team 11 weather app, and it'll bring you any alerts right to your phone. 65 degrees overnight tonight with patchy fog developing. If you're playing a little soccer with the kids, I know some of them not quite back to school yet. We'll have temperatures for highs at about 83 degrees under a partly sunny sky. And looking ahead to Washington, you'll be at about 83 tomorrow, 85 in Uniontown, 82 Beaver. Here's my 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. And it's turning hot and steamy as we head into the weekend. I want to show you a look at what the heat index forecast is looking like for the weekend. I'll do that coming up in the next half hour.
And be sure to check out the WPXI streaming app. We'll have constant updates on the forecast and today's top stories. And you can find it right now on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Just search WPXI.
Reports found Amazon was throwing away unwanted inventory. The new program now that changes that.
Questions are being raised about safety in downtown Pittsburgh. We ask people if they are worried after 2 stabbings in 2 busy areas.
11 News at 5, when you want news from where you live. Amazon says it will start donating some of its unsold products. This comes after reports of the company throwing away inventory. It's going to be done through a program called Fulfillment by Amazon Donations. The items include those that were either unsold or returned. The new program begins next month.
Workers at the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh have voted to join the United Steelworkers Union. More than 300 workers are affected, including librarians and other staff. The vote gives workers at 19 branches the ability to negotiate a contract with the library system.
Well, what do you think about this? A Little League team in Barrington, Rhode Island was accused of breaking the rules by a rival team that they beat in the national playoffs. The coach of the New Hampshire Little League team accused Barrington's team of stealing signs, which is against the rules. Umpires investigated, and Little League International says it considers the matter to be closed. And the Barrington coach says the accusation is not true.
It's actually pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. Barrington Little League prides itself on honesty, integrity.
Barrington's Little League team will be playing in the World Series starting today in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Well, it's been a year since the state released the grand jury report on predator priests.
And since then, it has really changed how Catholic churches deal with abuse cases. Channel 11 is talking with victims advocates about whether the changes are working.
Heads up if you live in western Beaver County. I'm tracking a thunderstorm headed your way. I'll have details on where that heaviest rain is moving coming up next.
If you want to be prepared for all the things you need to do, wake up with Channel 11 Morning News. You'll get dependable, live coverage of breaking news from a team you can trust to get the facts and the story right. We'll connect you to the important news happening where you live. And with weather updated every 10 minutes, you'll know exactly how storms will impact your commute. Be ready for whatever your day might bring. Channel 11 Morning News is coming. Johnson and Lisa Sylvester on Channel 11 News, 11 at 11.
Thunderstorms are developing.
Yeah, and one of them already popping up pretty strong is out there. Meteorologist Danielle Dozier is tracking where the storm is moving right now. Danielle.
Yeah, so this storm popped up in Ohio, and it's moving northeast. I just put a little speed tracker on it, so it's moving northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So those of you that live in far western Beaver County want to have a heads up there as this strong thunderstorm is getting closer to your area. I want to zoom in and show you exactly what's happening. We've got heavy rain and frequent cloud to ground lightning, as you see. So this is right now just to the west of Ohioville, moving northeast, as I mentioned, at about 20 miles per hour. Not severe, but it is dumping some very heavy rainfall, and of course that lightning. Here are the times of arrival. Ohioville 12:34, South Beaver 12:49, Chippewa at 1 o'clock, and on the current path, if it holds together, Beaver Falls at 1:05. The rest of us look pretty quiet. You can see not a whole lot going on, with the exception of a little shower that's just popped up here in Washington County. I'll keep my eye on that one, let you know if that one pulses up and becomes even stronger, and we'll have another update coming up in just a few minutes.
More questions about safety in downtown Pittsburgh. This comes after 2 stabbings in 2 busy areas just in the last few days, and one was deadly. I talked with people downtown about how they're feeling.
I walk all over here all the time, and never really thought about it.
Fort City resident Sherry Zappa works in downtown Pittsburgh. She's surprised to hear of another violent incident here in the area.
But it was a little bit eye-opening, yeah.
The latest attack, police say, happening here on the 700 block of Liberty Avenue Tuesday night. Investigators say Michael Baum Jr. stabbed a man and chased him to Market Square. Police arrested Baum.
Overall, it's pretty safe down here.
And it was less than a week ago, police say 23-year-old James Wyatt stabbed 2 women, killing one of them. Police calling that incident a random act of violence. And residents say despite these 2 incidents less than a week apart, they still feel safe.
I would say that those are isolated incidents. I would say, if anything, just to maybe have more regular patrols.
Channel 11 reached out to officials with Visit Pittsburgh about the recent violence. They tell us while we have not fielded specific concerns from our visitors, the safety and well-being of our residents and those who travel to Pittsburgh remain our top priority. We understand the city's public safety officials will continue to work hard to ensure that Pittsburgh is a safe destination. This afternoon, Channel 11 saw police presence in the downtown area. As for those who live or work in downtown, they're hoping these incidents continue to be rare and they still feel safe downtown.
I don't feel unsafe, put it that way.
And here's some more details now. Pittsburgh police recently released new statistics saying crime is going down in the city. The numbers show there was a 5% drop from January through June of this year, and that's compared to this time last year. But some people we talked to say they feel stats are down because less people are reporting what's happening.
Police continue to look for the suspect who shot 3 people in Lawrence County. We first told you about this yesterday. That shooting happened on Adams Street in Newcastle. Since then, we learned a 15-year-old was grazed by a bullet. An 18 and a 22-year-old were more seriously hurt. The homeowner says the shooter targeted her 13-year-old son because of an incident with another teen earlier in the day.
My stepson shielded him and protected him. They were trying to shoot my 13-year-old son. He was trying to run in the house, and they told him not to run in the house.
Witnesses tell us there were at least 8 men, and all of them wearing masks, and all had guns.
A Texas baseball field is now the scene of a memorial for the victims of the El Paso shooting rampage. The event was held last night at Southwest University Park. Texas's governor spoke during the ceremony. He says he will be establishing a domestic terrorism task force. The Jewish Community Center of Greater Pittsburgh is pitching in to help the El Paso community recover from the shooting. According to our partners at the Trib, officials from the center traveled to El Paso this week. They visited a memorial outside the Walmart where the shooting happened. They left a sign on a fence which says the JCC of Greater Pittsburgh stands with El Paso, Texas.
We're getting our first look at an Indiana County teenager who drowned in Erie. 19-year-old Aronde Askew drowned Tuesday night at Sparrow Pond Family Campground. Police say that Askew was swimming in the pond when he became distressed and went underwater. Witnesses tried to rescue him, but they were unsuccessful.
It's been a year since the state released a groundbreaking grand jury report on predator priests. Channel 11's Aaron Martin reports that as the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese works to make changes, some question if it's enough.
the unprecedented scope of this investigation.
1 year ago, survivors got a voice. The Attorney General's 800-page grand jury report revealed widespread abuse and cover-ups from 6 of the 8 Pennsylvania dioceses, including Pittsburgh and Greensburg. In all, there were more than 300 priest names, and we learned 1,000 victims. Since then, Attorney General Josh Shapiro says his office has received more than 1,800 calls to its clergy abuse hotline.
We have a brokenness in our history that causes revulsion, and that many of us would very much wish just hadn't happened, but it did. And so now what needs to be done is our response.
Diocese of Pittsburgh spokeswoman Ellen Motti says the church has made significant changes over the last year, like establishing a victims' compensation fund, offering counseling, and creating a church healing committee.
We really want you to feel heard and understood.
But the steps are getting mixed reactions from survivors and advocates. Francis Samber with the Survivors Network for Those Abused by Priests believes there needs to be more transparency from the church.
No matter what compensation they're offering, that compensation is nothing without those victims having a day in court.
Survivor Jim Van Sinkle recently met with Bishop David Zubik and is working on helping other survivors who may not be ready for help from the church.
And by meeting with the bishop as well as other people on the team there, we're hoping to be able to be a third party with a voice.
And that was Aaron Martin reporting. The grand jury report recommended eliminating the statute of limitations in criminal and civil cases in Pennsylvania, along with opening a 2-year window that would allow all survivors to have their day in court. The diocese supports eliminating the criminal statute, but says it will only support the civil change if it's applied to more than just the church.
The attempt for female soccer players to make the same amount of money as male players has stalled. The U.S. women's national team sued U.S. Soccer for equal pay. Both parties agreed to meet in New York this week, but statements issued indicate they're far apart. Right now, there are no new talks scheduled, and this case may go to trial. U.S. Soccer is pushing back against allegations of pay disparity between male and female players.
Dangerous drugs are off the street. A man caught with pure fentanyl is behind bars. Police say they stopped Robert Allen with nearly 4.5 pounds of the potentially deadly drug. The crafted man is charged with plotting to sell it. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid painkiller. It can be 100 times stronger than heroin. 2 nanograms can be deadly.
Millions of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We find out what is the biggest drain on their bank accounts.
And solving a medical mystery, children partially paralyzed in the Pittsburgh area. Coming up, the cure researchers say could be coming.
Meteorologist Stephen Cropper tracking the weather in your neighborhood.
Well, listen to this here. If you're struggling to make ends meet, you are definitely not alone. According to a survey conducted by Charles Schwab, 59% of adults are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 50% say they carry credit card debt and struggle to keep up with payments. Only 38% said that they have an emergency fund.
Another local police department is handing out stickers to help first responders identify people who have disabilities. West Mifflin Police posted a message on Facebook saying that you can pick up stickers at the department. Channel 11 told you earlier this week Mount Lebanon Police also have the stickers available. You can put them on a window, either in your car or at home, and they let first responders know of someone who is inside who may not respond in a way rescuers might expect. Snow days may be eliminated for students in the Mars area school district. The new proposal would give students homework online, which would count as a school day. According to our Butler radio partners, the district wants to offer the flexible instructional days for this year, and that means students would turn in assignments online when classes are canceled because of bad weather. The district still has the go-ahead from the State Department of Education.
Well, when it comes to cell phone plans, it's hard to know if you're getting a good deal out there.
And with a family, it can really add up fast, as you know. Well, our consumer advisor explains what you can do to pay a little less each month.
I'm tracking some storms that are moving into Beaver County here. Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar, and more storms are already popping up. I've got new updates next.
You're streaming WPXI Now, your source for original local shows. Corruption, fraud, scandal. Veteran reporter Brian Ross shines a light on accused criminals. Brian Ross Investigates. Weekends at 7:30 p.m. on WPXI. Channel 11 Morning News brings you weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh tracks storms down to your neighborhood, and Tricia Pittman helps you get around backups. Check out the difference on Channel 11 Morning News.
Channel 11 News at 5, covering more news in Westmoreland County.
Well, it's a medical mystery that hit Pittsburgh just last year. AFM left 6 children in our area partially paralyzed. Channel 11's Justin Gray is in Washington, where researchers say they're pinpointing the cause and maybe even a cure.
Most of us had never heard of AFM until an outbreak last fall. Little Amira Faircloth spent 3 weeks in a Jacksonville hospital in 2018, then more time at a rehab facility. Katie and JP Bustamante traveled to Capitol Hill in November, pushing for answers after their son Alex died from the polio-like illness last year.
I literally watched him just melt before my eyes as the day went on.
This week, finally progress with efforts to understand the illness that primarily affects children and can cause paralysis. Scientists at the National Institutes of Health say results from a new study show a link to an enterovirus, a common virus that usually only causes a mild respiratory infection.
This is getting really close to some pretty definitive evidence that there is this association.
Why is that so critical? Because without knowing what causes AFM, researchers can't fight it. Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of infectious diseases at NIH, tells me this study gave his team enough data that they have officially begun preliminary work on a vaccine.
We're at the stage where we feel comfortable that we're getting enough accumulative evidence that we should go in the direction of starting to develop countermeasures.
And that was Justin Gray reporting the CDC confirmed 13 AFM cases in 2019. They are investigating 76 more suspected cases. We're told AFM is most common in the fall after children go back to school.
Sunsetter is recalling 270,000 vinyl awning covers used with motorized awnings. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the awnings can open unexpectedly when the cover is removed. The company got 14 reports of incidents, including a death and 6 injuries. Consumers are urged to contact Sunsetter to receive free breakaway safety clips. Macy's is testing the apparel resale business. The department store is starting a pilot this month with resale marketplace ThredUp. The goal is to attract new customers, especially millennials. The pilot will launch at 40 locations across the country, not yet clear where. It can get overwhelming when choosing a cell phone plan. You can get a great deal on a family plan, but consumer advisor Clark Howard says you don't need a family to get a great deal.
Do you know that roughly 3 out of 4 of us are on some form of family plan for our cell phone rather than on our own individual plan? And usually we've got people on our plan that aren't even family just so we can get bigger discounts. So what do you do if you are one individual and you have to buy your own plan? Do you just lose out? Not at all. There are now a number of deals in the marketplace that work for one person or just a couple. You don't have to have 4, 6, 8, 10 people to get those great deals. I have a brand new revised guide for you at clark.com. What are the best plans for you buying cell phone service by yourself? For a lot of people, you can get a great plan for as little as $20 a month. I'm Clark Howard.
You can see more from Clark Howard on our streaming app just by searching WPXI on Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV.
Well, believe it or not, the first day of school is just days away. And it's natural to have some first day jitters, but if things get too nerve-wracking during the school year, experts say anxiety can have a huge impact. So, in an effort to help, 2 states are allowing students to take mental health days. In Oregon, a student is allowed 5 mental health days. They can be taken over a 3-month period. Utah is the other state. And this is naturally leading to a debate. Some doctors say it teaches kids it's okay to say, I'm overwhelmed and need time to decompress. Others say we are setting our kids up to be failures in the workplace. Well, right now, there are no plans to allow Pennsylvania students to take mental health days. There are so many issues to consider these days when kids head back to school. Well, that's why Channel 11 has a special back-to-school section right on our website at WPXI.com for all your first day needs.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Good afternoon. Still tracking those thunderstorms moving into Beaver County. You can see the red color, which represents where we have that heavy rain falling. Lightning also is being detected. Here are the times of arrival. Chippewa 104, Beaver Falls 113, Elwood City 122 on the current path. Kind of a couple of storms going on up in that area, and will continue to move northeast at about 20 miles per hour. I'm also tracking some development now in the Brentwood area. Moderate to heavy rain that's moving in. Also the Parkway East, just north of it, you'll see some moderate to heavy showers. These are kind of lifting gradually toward the Penn Hills area. Nothing severe out of that right now. We'll continue to track that risk, though, for some strong to severe thunderstorms. This is the latest outlook we have now in a yellow color, which means scattered severe storms from Beaver to Newcastle, Pittsburgh, Greensburg. You can see all those other areas included. So we are still looking at the threats of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, large hail, which would be 1 inch or quarter sized or greater, as well as a brief weak tornado. So definitely you want to stay weather aware later on today as these storms continue to pop up, as well as some moving in from Ohio. Here's 4 o'clock. Still with the threat for showers and storms. 5 o'clock, they're going to be widely scattered across the area. 6 o'clock, the same. Threat continues into 8, 9 o'clock or so. Then once we get closer to about 10 p.m., it looks like the majority of any storms or severe weather that's out there will have since come to an end. So you want to stay weather aware. You can always download our Severe Weather Team 11 app. That'll bring you alerts right to your phone. You can also track the storms on our radar. We also encourage you to send us your pictures, but safely, of course. You don't want to be outside in a severe storm, but you can use the hashtag WPXI-Storm if you can do so safely. 63 degrees as the storms come to an end overnight tonight. 64 in Beaver, 65 in Pittsburgh, 64 in Indiana. Fog tracker does show some patchy fog setting up for your Friday morning commute. Here's a look at 6:30 a.m. You can see there is still some fog out there. 8 o'clock in the morning, it's starting to lift across the majority of our area. Tomorrow, 83 degrees, so we're in for another warm and humid day with a partly sunny sky. Looks like a stray shower chance would be mainly confined along the I-80 corridor, as well as in the ridges. The rest of us should stay fairly quiet. Humidity will be building over the next couple of days, especially by the weekend and into Monday. It's really going to be feeling sticky out there. And as temperatures heat up into the upper 80s and close to 90, here's what it's going to feel like by Sunday across the area. Low to middle 90s. So we're starting to see those numbers, those heat index values push up into the mid 90s. And I think it'll be the case for Monday as well of next week. In the meantime, weekend always in view. Scattered storms on Saturday, and then, of course, storms developing throughout the afternoon. Today, we'll be here updating you all afternoon long.
Dirty-looking water is coming out of the tap in a local community. Officials say could be a week before things get back to normal there. People started seeing a brown tint when Springdale started replacing filters. It's part of the borough's water improvement project. Officials say the water is safe despite its brown color.
Driver, turn off the car, put your hands up.
Well, check this out here. Yankees general manager Brian Cashman forced from his car while officers pointed guns right at him, but it was all a misunderstanding. Cashman's car was stolen last week. It was found in the Bronx and returned to Cashman, but the NYPD never registered the car as found, so they ran the plate and it came up stolen. Cashman says officers handled it like professionals.
They probably executed their jobs perfectly and did exactly as they were trained to do.
Well, police apologized to Cashman for the embarrassment.
Yikes.
Kind of scary there. Well, a man is $50,000 richer, and it's all because of a pair of shoes, Peggy.
Not just any shoes, Damani. Coming up, we'll explain what makes these so unique and how he got so much money.
7-day forecast, now on your screen all the time on Channel 11 News.
Ketchup lover Ed Sheeran is teaming up with Heinz. The singer will be auctioning off ketchup bottles for charity. The labels on 150 limited edition bottles mirror Sheeran's tattoo sleeve. The first 3 will be hitting the auction block, with proceeds going to children's hospices and the Rise Against Hunger. The rest of the bottles are going to be up for grabs online. You can find a link to that on WPXI.com.
Well, you may find this odd, but the Ohio State University wants to trademark the word "the." They are trying to protect its use of the word on merchandise such as T-shirts and hats. Well, if you know any fans or alumni, then you know it's a big deal to those folks. They put emphasis on the word before the school's name. A man in California just cashed in on his old pair of Nikes. Listen to this, right? It turns out they are extremely rare. Now, take a look here. These are waffle racing moon shoes, all right? They don't look too good, right? But the Dave Russell just sold them for $50,000. Come on. The soles were made with a waffle iron, and the shoe was stitched with fishing line. Russell got them at a 1972 Olympic trials when he was vying for a spot as a runner for Team USA.
And imagine back in 72, those were just something very exotic. They were handmade, the soles made on a waffle iron. For a long time, they were up in the rafters in my garage in a box next to my Christmas tree lights.
Well, who says you can't keep old pair of shoes, Peggy? Wow.
Pretty cool. And that'll do it. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Watch Channel 11 News at 6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Join the leukemia